Hey there, in today's video, I am doing a very simple project, which is just swatching colors. And I know there's plenty of videos out there about swatching and how to do it, but I'm doing today as a reminder to go back through your supplies and test out the colors just as it's another way actually just to begin to get started if you are feeling stuck, but it's also a very good exercise in all the different colors that you have in a certain medium. For example, colored pencils or markers or acrylic paints or gouache or whatever it is that you have. Just taking the time to kind of swatch those out can be super helpful, not only in terms of knowing what colors you have, but also in figuring out your reaction to those colors. Like, what is it that I like and what is it that I don't like? And that is where you begin to foster your sense of style, and who you are and what you like is about your unique self. So I think besides the fact of swatching for the sake of swatching, color for the sake of color, it's also for your own personal, like, which colors do I like the best? And then maybe honing down so that you keep those colors, maybe don't get rid of everything else, but maybe separated them out and have those ready and more accessible. And the other colors that you really aren't as keen on, that you keep those kind of in a separate area. So I think swatching is always a good idea. It's super simple, it's very relaxing, and it's just a way to kind of get your hands in the paint or whatever medium you happen to be doing. So this is, obviously doesn't need much of an introduction, other than I want to kind of give you some of the ideas I had behind this video and what it's about. In another video, I'm going to suggest that you take all of one color from a variety of mediums and swatch those so you can get a better idea of it. But that's tomorrow, or the next video. So anyway, okay, without further ado, let's get started. I thought I'd start by swatching these Derwent graph tint, because actually I think I see a pencil that's not supposed to be in there. So I'm going to move that to the side because I have them, and I was using them the other day and I was like, oh, they're actually some of the colors I wasn't expecting. So I think that is the beauty in swatching. Some people actually keep the swatch handy so they can reference it. For me, that isn't something that I typically do. I do like kind of seeing the colors that I have, but I don't use it as a reference. So I'm just being honest here. That's not how I use it, but I do like seeing what the colors look like and how they react to the paper. So I just have a small piece of paper here, and I'm just going to randomly grab. Now you also could line them up and do them in a specific pattern, like start from light to dark. But I think for the sake of example, I'm just going to do it quickly. Here's a cloud gray, and it's, exactly what you'd think. And I'm going to set them off to the side. I'm going to look and see other ones that look kind of grayish. And that is also not a color that is supposed to be in here. This one is cool brown. Okay. And let's see here. This is slate green. I feel like when I was using them before, this one's chestnut, I was watching a video, and I was using it to do mark making in my art journal, and cocoa, and I was like, what? That didn't seem like that color, but so far they all seem like they're the color they should be. This one is ivy. So anyway, I was surprised at one of them, so I was kind of like, I need to just go through and swatch all of these and see what they actually look like. This is a cool gray, and I guess that was a cloud gray. So interesting. Oh, this is more blue. I like that. That's really pretty. And then this one is port. And that kind of seems portish, like wine port. This is aubergine, which I think is a little more purpley. Yeah. Okay. This one is midnight black, which I think we're going to know. Black. It's not super dark. It looks more dark gray. This one is Storm. I think this is the one that surprised me. That doesn't look like Storm. That looks very similar to aubergine. I don't know. Or maybe this was aubergine. I don't know. Anyway, it looks similar to Port. Anyway, that threw me. That was the one. That's the one right there. And this one is dark indigo. And I like that color too. Okay, so what I thought I would do, let me grab a brush real quick And I thought I'd just kind of get them damp. So I wasn't really thinking. I should have. Maybe I got my spray bottle right here. I just wanted to see if they moved a little bit and what that looked like. They do. I like that. Maybe I have a little container with water in it. And I'm just going to, let me do this up here so I can move each of them around just a little bit, because I do like to see what the color is when it moves around with water, because wow, some of those are so pretty. I'm going to try to dab it off on this paper towel over there. Okay, that's more orange than you'd think. Okay, so I think it's fun to do this as a project, and sometimes it's a way, if you just really can't do anything, sometimes, oh, that's pretty. It's a great way just to test out your supplies. And sometimes, like me, you have these pencils and you don't use them very often, or when you do use them, they kind of surprise you. And so it is fun to kind of just look at them and see what they can do, because I think the tendency is to get something and then sometimes we use it and then sometimes we don't. Okay, I'm gonna pull that all the way down. Ooh, I'm going crazy now. So I got all this room down here. I can actually see. That actually is really pretty. I like it in the lighter color. And I'm not one to have I'm not a big pastel person, but I do like, that's what I like about graphite, is that it has that undertone of gray. So I would suggest as another way to get to know your materials and your supplies better is just test out, swatch out whatever materials you have. And I know I've done, sorry about that. I know I've done videos on swatching before, and I know you've seen tons of videos on that. So this is not something that I need to belabor the point, but definitely something that is worthwhile doing, and it's a great way to kind of educate yourself on the materials you have. I'm actually going to show you in fast forward, because I don't need to talk about it. I'm going to swatch out my oil pastels, and I will show you that in fast forward. But so I swatched as far as I could go on this page. Basically, the colors I missed were some of the pinks, reds, and purples. I did not put these in order ahead of time. I also did not swatch the whites, but it helped me like to see where I'm out of order a little bit in terms of, I like to keep the colors similar, because something like this, I don't know, is that black, purple? What color is it? It does, some of them do have their little thing on there still. So this is a green. So this is helpful because some of these down here, these colors were a little bit surprising, and they're colors that I would definitely consider using. Whereas I would look over here and think, I don't know, but I do like some of those colors. Also, some of the blues and greens, some are a little bit more vibrant than what I would normally use, but it's a fun activity. Now, here's the other thing. What I might consider doing is going through, and each color that I swatched that I really didn't like, I might set in another jar or away, so that the colors in this box are always the colors that I'm really drawn to. And that is something that I probably would consider doing. So this is a good activity in terms of just sampling what you have, using all of one thing, all of soft pastels, all the graphite pencils, all your charcoals, all your acrylic paints, all your acrylic inks, doing one type and seeing all the different colors and making some determinations around that is a great activity and a great idea in terms of just getting yourself in the flow of what colors you like and what colors you don't like, because it's okay. So for example, you know, I love the olive green, but it's okay that I don't necessarily like the bright orange, but I might use the bright orange as an accent to something. So I maybe wouldn't want to get rid of it, but maybe I don't need two bright oranges. So it's just something to consider. And it's a great way to, I mean, I know we talked in another video about your color palette and the things that you personally are drawn to. This is another great way to say, to go through here and go, what colors, maybe even circle them. What colors do I absolutely love? And then moving aside all these other colors. You do not need to keep every color. Some people actually would have these sorted by color. I just don't have that many bins, and this is just the most convenient way for me to keep them. But I am looking at this thinking, I see some duplicates. These three blues all look very similar to me. It's like, do I need three that are the same? Probably not. And then it gets a little confusing when I'm in here. And I will say that some of these oil pastels I like better than others. The Caran d'Ache Neo Pastel, it is the creamiest, most beautiful, goes on so great. I would definitely highly recommend those. I don't have a lot of experience with oil pastels, but of the ones that I sampled in here, the Neo Pastels I think are the creamiest and are the nicest. And I probably might consider honing it down and just keeping those. That's another idea too, because I can tell I like using them. They just go on so much nicer. So I hope that you will consider doing something like this just as a way to get to know your supplies better and your colors better, and also to figure out for yourself what is it that you really like, because I think this can lend itself to that. So if you have found this helpful, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.